We come on the air with an incredible piece of news. Donald Trump is facing a giant ego boo-boo. A federal judge has ruled that Donald Trump's name must be removed from the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. It is a huge setback for his ridiculous effort to take over the institution by brute force. We don't know yet when the letters will actually be removed, but the crowds are growing bigger and bigger by the half hour there in Washington, D.C., as onlookers cheer the effort underway. In the meantime, we start today with another one of Donald Trump's power grabs, the attempted takeover of our elections. Donald Trump finally has everything he always wanted to achieve that in the Justice Department. Loyalists who will not just indulge his conspiracy theories and his attacks on our democracy, but the foot soldiers who are ready to put the machinery of the federal government and the Department of Justice behind Trump's conspiracy theories to amplify them and to validate them. You just have to look at what's happening in California in what would be an incredibly unusual move in normal times. Here's how the top federal prosecutor in Los Angeles, Bill Asaley, cast doubt on that state's primary elections while the votes were still being counted.
We're doing the work. We're doing the best we can in the circumstances. I expect people will be charged. It will be election fraud charges in the next, I hate to put timelines on things, but 1 to 2 months. I believe we need the some of these results to be certified so we can prove some of the allegations.
People will be charged? How do you know that? What crimes happened? There's no evidence of any crime. There's no evidence of any fraud. And the New York Times reports this, that promise by Asaley, quote, would most likely have been considered a violation of Justice Department policy under decades of past practice. But it's a, quote, vivid example of the Justice Department's approach to voting under the Trump administration. The agency is seeking to assert more control over elections and challenge how states conduct them, a shift that could have significant consequences in the midterm elections this year when control of Congress hangs in the balance. Already in Trump's second term, his DOJ has left no stone unturned when it comes to sowing doubt in the integrity of our elections. They have so far, quote, sought voter roll data from most states, sued those that have declined to comply, opened a criminal investigation into 2020 election results in Fulton County, Georgia, a state Trump narrowly lost last year, and demanded ballots from the 2024 race from Wayne County, Michigan. And brand new reporting from my colleague Carol Leonnig reveals the latest installation in their throw everything at the wall to rig the midterm campaign. Quote, FBI agents on Thursday raided the Cleveland offices of the Ohio Organizing Collaborative, a pro-democracy organization that helps register voters in that state. 3 people briefed on the search told MSNOW. According to one board member of the organization, quote, agents approached people with connections to the group, including some who have performed basic canvassing and volunteer work, and pressed them for information. Donald Trump's Justice Department willing to undermine the bedrock principle of American democracy is where we start today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Senior investigative reporter Carol Leonnig is here. She broke that story on the FBI raid in Ohio. Also joining us, former assistant special agent in charge at the FBI and national security and intelligence analyst Michael Feinberg is back. Also back with us, Puck News senior political columnist, national affairs analyst John Heilman is at the table for the hour. Carol Leonnig, take us through your extraordinary reporting.
Yeah. So, Nicolle, last night we started getting tips that FBI agents had raided this Ohio organization that has a lot of pro-democracy initiatives, but one of the most important ones is called the Democracy Builders Initiative that tries to register voters who aren't registered but are legally able to vote. And this seems like a kind of a patriotic goal, but FBI agents raided that office yesterday, according to our sources, and according to a board member of the group who confirmed it for us late in the evening. And those FBI agents also did something really unprecedented, which is that they went without warrants, according to the board member, to interview across the state and show up at the doorsteps of volunteers, canvassers, people who basically just enlisted their own energies to try to register voters. And they were, by insinuation and by the questioning of the FBI agents, it was implied that they had engaged in some sort of wrongdoing. It was, to the board members' mind, straight up intimidation tactics and a fishing expedition, quote unquote. These agents, according to witnesses who we spoke to, did not have warrants to do these interviews, if you can call them that. And it is really a break from everything about the way the Department of Justice and the FBI conducts investigations into the possibility of election fraud or any wrongdoing in election registration.
Let me read from the part of the story that has these incredible quotes from witnesses. You reported this, from the board member of Ohio Organizing Collaborative, who told MSNOW Thursday night, quote, they had agents all across the state going to civil rights leaders and community leaders' doors, intimidating them, coming and demanding that they talk about literally anything they would ask, adding that agents, quote, ask them if they're committing voter fraud, just on their doors, in front of their houses, with their children, and just following them to work or school. Some of the people said the agents approached without warrants, according to the board member Haney, just straight up intimidation tactics. Carol, is that legal?
I don't know that an FBI agent could be charged with a crime based on the description that we receive from sources. But the Office of Professional Responsibility and internal ethics investigators would have looked at this with real curiosity. I can't imagine that individuals who were engaged in this in a previous administration wouldn't have been referred for an internal investigation of the way they handled this. Very similarly, I mean, to the California example that you were describing earlier, Nicolle, those would have been the subject and were the subject of the Office of Professional Responsibility at the Department of Justice, investigating prosecutors who said things in the way that Bill Asaley did.
I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I want to illustrate how much worse things are than under the people for whom I would never throw celebratory parades the first term, Jeff Sessions, Bill Barr, and I think there were a couple of people in the middle. One of them might have been named Whitaker. This is Bill Barr calling claims of election fraud bullshit.
I made it clear I did not agree with the idea of saying the election was stolen and putting out this stuff, which I told the president was bullshit. And, I didn't want to be a part of it, and that's one of the reasons that went into me deciding to leave when I did. I observed, I think it was on December 1st, that, how can you can't live in a world where the incumbent administration stays in power based on its view, unsupported by specific evidence, that there was fraud in the election.
Michael Feinberg, I appreciate in a way I didn't during the first term that people are inside the Justice Department for a variety of reasons. You made a choice to leave. I think that is principled and moral. I admire it. I applaud it. But I think that today is an inflection point for people who've made a different decision. They have to understand that they are now part of something that Bill Barr, quote, didn't want to be a part of. That was the reason he decided to leave. When he observed, I think it was on December 1st, how you can't live in a world where the incumbent administration stays in power based on its view, unsupported by specific evidence. We know what they're doing because it's the same thing they did last time. And now every FBI agent that participated in, if not illegal questioning, certainly extraordinarily unethical questioning of civil rights leaders, the U.S. attorneys who think they're going to charge these cases, as the U.S. attorney in California said on television, he's, quote, preparing charges for crimes that haven't been identified or investigated. That's what they're a part of. That is the project of this Justice Department and everybody that is in it.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult to dissent from that conclusion, which for me personally is just a little heartbreaking, to be honest, because I really assumed that the line level workforce would realize that activities like this are incompatible with their oath of office. Now, I want to be clear. There is nothing illegal about the FBI going to somebody's house to interview them. They do not need a search warrant for that. They do not need any sort of warrant to go have a conversation. And I would hope at the same time, every American citizen, regardless of their political background or leanings, knows you don't have to talk to the FBI when they show up at your door. You can ask them to leave your property. You are under no obligation to answer their questions. And I can't believe we live in an upside down world where somebody with my background is now explaining how to thwart the FBI's efforts, in a sense. But what we're seeing here can't just be taken in isolation as something that happened in Ohio. It has to be compared with and taken as a whole with what happened in Wayne County, Michigan, with what happened in Fulton County, Georgia, with the statements coming out of the Central District of California. And yes, with the attempt to overturn the election, we saw in 2020 and 2021 that culminated in the events of January 6th. If I'm an FBI agent and I'm reading the papers and I'm seeing this pattern, I would not be comfortable taking part in any of these operations without some pretty clear guidelines and predication and a theory that was not based on lunatic conspiracies.